Hey troops, Roofing Geek Adventures. Woohoo! Broadcasting from the Green Couch in the Clintonville section of Columbus, Ohio. Got a book review for you today. It is the mini book of heroes and villains. Because I'm a source book geek. I love this stuff. History, statistics, because blah, 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 at this time and yada, yada, all that junk. Yeah, I'm an academic wannabe. So anyway, the listing for these showed up, and I'm like, ooh. And the fact is, unfortunately, I'm a DC dork, so I really didn't have a substantial source book for Marvel heroes. So I'm like, ooh, yeah, we'll get these. This will be cool. And I'm looking at this going, okay, the mini book of villains and heroes. Like, oh, okay, because sometimes it turns into these giant tomes that literally it's like you're walking with a giant encyclopedia. I'm like, oh lordy, that's a lot of stuff. So I ordered them. um, they weren't kidding when they said mini. uh, Yeah, it's bigger than my hand's bigger. Now you're thinking, oh, what happened? The nice thing is that it was the most wonderful, pleasant surprise. Each of these, by the way, was it? Yeah, these are each 11.99. So I mean, considering the size of what you get, hey, and also, oh, hardcover. Basically, these are miniature encyclopedias. Each of these they have 100 characters each. Heroes and villains corresponding. And per the usual, you've got a giant here. Here we got Miss Marvel. Yeah, and we got the giant splash page art. And on the other side is all the information, a little biography, a very brief snippet about things like origins and stuff like that, vital statistics. And of course, because it's something that we do because, hey, we're info geeks, we have a giant little like status bars or stuff like endurance, strength, blah, 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 blah. So how is something this tiny? I liked it. When I first got these, I'm looking at this like, well, I only wasted like $12 on each one. There is a lot of information. I mean, you're okay. This is small, so you're not going to get the super uber detailed rundown of everything that's happened, yada yada yada. But if you're looking for general information, case in point, say you're watching, you're in the midst of a MCU marathon and you're just looking for information real quick. Now, there's also part of you going, well, isn't that what your smartphone and Google is for? I'm old. I like having a book. It's precious. And besides, it's in alphabetical order, so it's faster than typing on Google. So there. The number of characters, it's the usual interesting mix of well-known characters and a couple like, who the heck is that kind of things. For instance, you've got obvious things like the Silver Surfer, Thor, and then you get some off the wall ones like Machine Man, which makes it fun. Now, the thing to keep in mind on the other hand is that this is 100 characters. This is 100 characters for each one. So unfortunately, if you're an X-Men fan, uh, sorry, but you don't get Sunspot in this. All right. um, you get the major kind of obvious folks like Cable's in here, Strife, Apocalypse, so on and so forth. The other thing you run into is that since you go through, you create all these energy bar stats, you get that infamous moment of kind of, so how consistent is this, all things being relative. Um, and you don't have a massive amount of space, so unfortunately the art is kind of limited. But like I said, it's a surprising amount of data in here. Yes, and like I said, yes, I know you can go on Google, yada yada yada, but this way you don't have to use your smartphone. What if you're watching your stuff on your smartphone and you need to check on something? You can use this. Ha! Or you're just old and cranky like me, you like having a book. So there you go. It's these are fun. Okay, they're not super detailed tomes of information, but if you're looking for a quick reference, if you have young kids or just general fans or just getting to MCU that would like a little bit more information, but don't want to be involved with the long 70 billion years worth of information about Cable because that's intimidating. This is perfect. It's a wonderful brief snippet of information um, in a very in a very cheap format. So there you go. Something fun to get, a stocking stuffer, a little something gift for folks. Or if you're in full hound like me, just one more thing to get, and it's hardcover. So there. So there you go. Hey, hope you all have a good rest of the weekend. May the force be with you. May the odds be in your favor. As always, be good to each other. Okay, peeps? Y'all take care. Peace. Bye.